was sitting on the train home, grading papers as usual. Suddenly, the normally bustling carriage fell eerily silent. I looked up in confusion, only to discover with shock that all the other passengers had mysteriously vanished. At the same time, the train entered a tunnel I had never seen before. After a blinding flash of white light, I lost consciousness. When I came to, I found my phone had fallen to the floor. I picked it up but discovered there was no signal whatsoever. By then, the train had arrived at a completely unfamiliar location. Besides myself, there were only 5 others in the carriage: a middle-aged man, 3 young adults, a couple, and another man, and a female student. They were all still unconscious. The conductor's cabin had its curtains drawn tight, making it impossible to see inside. I went over to wake the female student and recognized from her uniform that she attended my school. Soon, the others began to stir as well, each looking equally bewildered. Just then, the train came to a stop. When the doors opened, we found ourselves at an unknown platform, Kisaragi Station. Everyone assumed we had simply missed our stop, so I took the female student with me to seek help in the nearby village. However, after searching the entire area, I realized the place seemed completely deserted. The village was unnervingly quiet, dead silent, in fact. Unwilling to give up, I decided to continue searching. Halfway through, I suddenly heard a blood-curdling scream. Following the sound, I ran straight into the couple from the train. Upon seeing me, they immediately fled in panic. I stood up and peered inside, but found nothing unusual. For safety's sake, I decided to return to the station first. Back at the station, after questioning the couple, I learned that their companion had met with foul play. For our own safety, we decided to leave immediately. However, as we were walking, the young woman's phone suddenly rang. The caller ID showed it was their deceased companion's number. Both were too terrified to answer. At this critical moment, I grabbed the phone and answered, only to hear dead silence on the other end. Just as I was about to hang up, a horrifying image suddenly appeared on the phone screen. At that moment, the middle-aged man rushed over to warn us that he could hear ceremonial drums, the kind only played during festivals. The couple told us these same drums had sounded when their friend died. Hearing this, the female student and I prepared to run, but just then, the middle-aged man suddenly grabbed my arm. In the next instant, his body underwent a grotesque transformation. Blood vessels burst across his eyes and arms before his entire body literally exploded. Before we could recover from the shock, we heard bizarre sounds coming from the woods below. An old man passed by, warning us not to stand on the railway tracks. While we were still puzzled by his words, he suddenly materialized on the tracks in the next second, repeating, "Standing on the tracks is very dangerous." He began running toward us. We fled in terror. Unexpectedly, the dead companion suddenly appeared, gripping the young man tightly while demanding, "Why didn't you save me?" The young woman rushed to help her partner. However, seeing the old man closing in from behind, the young man shoved the woman directly toward the old man. After an explosion, the deceased companion vanished as well. Now, only 3 of us remained. At this point, the young man picked up a knife. He claimed to have discovered how to survive in this place by sacrificing a living person whenever the drums sounded.